Hey friends, nomads, tech nomads, time flies, 2017 and we are in Thailand, Chiang Mai, Thailand. It's raining down in the south, our usual place down in the islands. It's so torrential downpours down there, not quite good for tech nomads to go and have their home away from home mobile studio. So here we are, Chiang Mai, and this episode seeking to show what one could bring for mobile studio concerns and how to convert a standard hotel room, guest house, what have you, into a studio for mixing of audio, visual, etc. Whatever you can do with a laptop these days, multiple devices, monitoring speakers, mixing, MIDI, interface, switching, all that stuff in 2 backpacks. And most importantly, the Vista. Hasta la vista. This is Chiang Mai, Thailand. It's a cute little city in the mountains, and for 800 baht, we could get a nice, clean, secure room and swimming pool down below, and well, there's no desk. Instead, there's an old console with an old television we're not gonna need, and a refrigerator that's kind of taking a lot of foot space. This could be converted into a desk. I don't see any other desk type thing. But first, let's unpack these bags. The goal this trip was to travel a little bit lighter than in trips past and to scale it down to just 2 bags. 2 bags, one huge, gargantuan, overflowing bag that can be pulled on wheels or used as a backpack, and right up to the limit of 50 pounds. And the all-important carry-on, which is not the largest carry-on we could get, but this one doubles as the around-town backpack. But first, unpacking, inventory, and what it takes to mix live audio, visual into a live streaming format for music is everywhere. Mixing in your digital kitchen, hotel room, and we have the experience from years of RVs, mobile, multimedia. Here we go. A new pair of headphones, Beats. They're not sound canceling, but they did come in a beautiful blue. Proper amount of bass. They were on sale. Okay, cables act as good cushioning in the side of the bag down below, so you don't wreck your more valuable thing. Cables, input, output. All right. Fader Fox makes a USB powered DJ mixer. Doesn't have a million controls, but it does have bass, mid, highs, filter, left and right, and some crazy little effects and things, and it's USB bus powered. You could almost say old school. I think this one came out in like 2011, 12 or something like that. I've taken out all the regular clothing that acts as good cushioning. Microphone cases make really good cases for in-between things, like here we've got some USB webcams for the mixing multimedia, as well as USB extension cables to be able to put them further across the room. Next, I was deliberating whether or not to bring a GoPro and all of its accessories. I opted for 2 iPhones, iPhone 6 and the new iPhone 7. But we also do have a GoPro if we get around to it. That'll be good for waterproof type adventures where we don't want to risk the iPhone. These cases, laptop neoprene cases, make good cases for the miscellaneous stuff. iPhone adapters for tops of tripods, screw-on adapters for putting cameras in corners and things. These little things come in really handy for hanging cables, more cables, and AC adapters. An indispensable product if you're planning on being connected on your trip. This is an alpha USB Wi-Fi antenna that greatly improves your receiving range, and USB to your laptop. Then you could even take that signal and share it onwards. Okay, this was a tough decision on this trip. Like it or leave it, it is a USB powered microphone. Chose this one as heavy and bulky as it is because it's pretty much 4 microphones in one. It is a condenser. It's also a stereo condenser. And you may have seen a lot of bloggers using this for broadcast capability. Sits nicely on a desk, bus powered, USB as it is. It's its own audio device essentially. And then attachment to almost any desk, and have it come down with a bit of telescoping boom for your microphone. It was so cheap on Amazon, we figured it was almost disposable at like $16. Extension cord, and it's very lightweight. When you're in strange hotels or airports or even bus stations, obviously you've got your voltage conversion, and sometimes you just want to discreetly run a little extension cord. These little things come in handy, and put that at the end and you're plugged in. Always have your Velcro to gather up the cable so it's not streaming all over the place. Great. Phone accessories, other pieces of Velcro, screen cleaner, and more clips, and a USB stick, a waterproof backpack covering bag. So lightweight and works as good cushioning inside the backpack anyway. Monitoring speakers. Lightweight option in the room is the Jawbone Jam Box, which we put in this little carrying case that fits on the back of our regular backpack sometimes, or on a bicycle. I'm sure you've seen them around. Fairly big rechargeable battery inside, and a little bit of bass that can fill a small room. You know, it's a lot better than carrying real bulky powered speakers around. Just not realistic to do so, and a little more accurate than the bigger boom boxes we've carried around before in the past. As much as we like the bass, airport baggage restrictions are nothing to shake a stick at. So this was built some years ago, custom, and we've had some great trips with it, and it's modular and always taking shape, different shape. This is not only a transportation safe case for MIDI controllers, but also it's something that we could set the controllers on the lid and tilt and perform from. If you have a desk that's not quite big enough, or you have to have things hanging off the edge of the desk, it's built to such a size that you can extend your desk space and put your laptop behind it and edit from that station, or even perform from that station. And folding little hinge to make it smaller inside the bag. This case fits inside my gargantuan backpack, surrounded by clothes, and it has not let me down yet. So inside we have the most affordable portable MIDI controller I've ever found, the Korg Nano Control 2, with a series of knobs and faders. And we use this for Resolume Avenue, and we even customized it and changed some of the knob colors so we know what's where. Nano Control 2. We still have an original Nano Control, and we use that with Ableton Live. You know, ideally we would have carried the APC 40 Mark II here, but that's just taking up way too much space, and so we have to scale it down a little bit and get some Ableton control. The Launchpad Mini. The Launchpad itself with 64 pads was a fantastic release. 2010 it came out or something, but the Launchpad Mini takes it one step further, and with a right angle USB connector, USB bus powered, and we could scroll through loads of clips in Ableton or in Resolume Avenue. And ideally we would have carried two, but this trip we were scaling down a little bit more. This was a tough decision. Old school, reliable, and extremely versatile audio interface. Still runs off of FireWire. You know, it's a FireWire connection, but FireWire to Thunderbolt adapter, it all works. We tried it out, it's happening. It's got enough ins and outs and good quality mic pre's and some very sophisticated routing software from RME that allows you to do such cool things like loop back between applications, so we can send the output of Resolume Avenue into Ableton Live and add effects to it. How cool to put digital delay on the audio that's coming from the video and then mix that into the DJ track. So the DJ and the VJ track have synchronicity with their effects. Here's a 7-port USB 3.0 powered adapter. You know, we love to keep everything bus powered, but with the Retina MacBook Pro coming out, we lost the full FireWire bus power ability and needed to plug into household power for our RME. And the same thing with too many USB ports, you're gonna have to plug into household power. Fortunately, Thailand, 220 volt power, 110 volt power. Most of these things are self-switching, no problem. A lot of cable adapters inside here, but here's an adapter that makes our whole thing possible to take video from one MacBook Pro and send it into another MacBook Pro as just one source. From the Resolume out into the other MacBook Pro into Wirecast, where we could either record the video that's coming in or we can compress it, mix it with other stuff, and stream it out. So this is the Black Magic Design Intensity Pro. I mean, could they have named it more extreme? It is the Intensity Extreme Pro, and it's HDMI. Any HDMI source will get converted to a Thunderbolt into the other MacBook Pro. So that leads us to bag number 2 and the MacBook Pros. MacBook Pros plural. Yeah, on some trips I've taken as many as 3 computers with me, but just wanted to be lightweight and be able to get to some new places like Chiang Mai, never been before, and still make it down to the islands, and Cambodia in between for a visa run. So 2 MacBook Pros, trying to do the job of 3, mixing multimedia always. The 2014, which I've named Muse, where the other one is called Views. We can put 2 pieces of Velcro on it and snap it to the lid of our MacBook Pro. So Muse runs Resolume and it runs Ableton Live. And we take the HDMI out and run it into the new controversial MacBook Pro Touch Bar model. Late 2016, the first one that arrived had some problems and we had to send it back. And we thought about just going with 2 of the standard Retina models last minute. Last minute, Apple made a return exception, allowed us to not wait for repair, which we wouldn't get in time for our plane leaving for Thailand, and we're not going to get it fixed with the rare parts necessary while waiting in Bangkok. So they heard our claim and they extended the right to return this one, and simultaneously a dealer said, hey, the one that you had on long-term back order just arrived. Yes, the one with 2 terabytes of SSD storage inside. You know, Touch Bar, to be honest, who cares? But brighter screen, louder speakers, thinner and lighter, and 2 terabytes inside. That's why we're dealing with the growing pains and my complaints about the new AC adapter and the ports, and my complaints about the keyboard itself being kind of clunky, noisy, and a step backwards from the old MacBook Pro. Right before we left, we took delivery of the first snap-on protective case for this new model, and the dongles. Yeah, you're gonna need the ability to break out extra USB 3.0 and maybe even an Ethernet. And there's standard USB Type A, and you gotta plug in the Type C adapter that will plug in into the side of the MacBook Pro, right angle, so the thing's not sticking out, and then converts to Type A. Love that. We've got a couple of those. And then there is the esteemed Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter for new MacBook Pro to be able to plug in old school Thunderbolt 2.0 devices. I mean, some people are just getting used to Thunderbolt 2 and we're already on to Thunderbolt 3 / USB Type-C 3.1. Here's an adapter, a dongle that we really liked at first, but sometimes bus-powered things don't completely work, but it's a really nice design. I wish they made this maybe with the option of right angle, but there's the USB 3.1 Type-C, and it gives you an HDMI, and it gives you a USB Type-C Echo out, or plug your Apple AC adapter into this for the new Touch Bar design. And then the bus power works correctly. But if you're going off of battery power, there are some hard drives through the USB Type A that don't power up and work correctly, unfortunately. So that's everything, and that's what you could set up in a hotel room and how to convert it to a total audio-visual mixing studio. Now, we might not get around to getting all of that going here from this particular hotel room in Thailand, but one last thing. Forget about the TV. Move the console out a little bit. Move the TV back a little bit, and you'll see how it becomes immediately complete with 2 little pieces of wood notched to lift the device up. Lift the device up, and then go ahead and arrange your MIDI controllers however you need them. Plug them all in, and then put your AC adapters and cables and crap down below here so they're not taking up precious desk space. So you can extend your desk and you could hide your cables and you could get your work done on the stupidest of surfaces in otherwise unfriendly hotel rooms not designed for mobile studio usage. So there's a lot of adventures that we've gone on being a tech nomad, and there's a lot of data. And to mix that material in with other programs on the fly, I had to bring with me my archives on a pretty cool selection of external hard drives. So just getting through this, let's see. Here's a 2 terabyte Thunderbolt drive from LaCie. I otherwise hate LaCie, but this is a USB 3.0 or Thunderbolt. Here is a 4 terabyte. Not such a fan of this one, but it does have the USB Type-C connector, and it was on sale. Sharp Corners Porsche is the name, and I wouldn't buy it again, but 4 terabytes for time machine backup. Here's another 4 terabytes, a little bit more rounded on the corners, a little bit more lightweight, reliable, and less expensive, USB 3.0 Seagate. Here is our own little custom, so you can buy a 1 terabyte SSD yourself anywhere on sale for a couple few $100 and put it inside this $20 case with the built-in USB cable, and boom, you're done. 1 terabyte SSD. And we can boot from that one, and that's actually a clone of another drive of ours. Here is another self-built 1 terabyte SSD with the USB 3.0 cable that folds conveniently inside. This one has a really cool form factor in that we can put 2 pieces of Velcro on it and snap it to the lid of our MacBook Pro, and then USB right around the corner, and 1 terabyte of clips for Resolume Avenue SSD speed. USB 3.0 is just fine, it works great. Amazingly, 2 terabytes of the exact same thing, a Samsung drive inside this Inio, and I don't think they make this Inio enclosure anymore. I tried to buy another one and I'm not seeing it exactly, but I love the design of having the cable come around like this. Another Rosewill adapter with another 1 terabyte drive inside and 1 terabyte SSD. You can pick these up used now on eBay, probably for about $150 or something, one of the older ones. And there you go. So that's pretty much the Tech Nomadic tips for today. I mean, this has turned into a television program of its own. I hope I've kept your interest. We'll get out there on a motorbike and we'll film a lot of footage of the local color and mix that in to the whole experience, and hope to put together some shows that outline the amazing capabilities of living as a tech nomad and receiving the audiovisual stimuli of the location that you're in, since music is everywhere, and then process that as an artist, mix it all up, and then deliver it in a format that other people can receive, and then further mix, and then further propagate and broadcast. That is the age that we live in. That's what's possible with smartphones and these wireless broadband systems. For $30-some a month, you've got your SIM card and your capability to have like 20 gigabytes of data. And you can add it on for like $30, $40, maybe $50 a month, and you can have like 50 gigabytes of 4G LTE in a city like this. That blows away most deals that you can find in cities such as Los Angeles with AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint, T-Mobile. I don't know, unless you're grandfathered in on a unlimited data plan, you know that whole struggle. So sometimes it's even easier to travel through Southeast Asia. With that, exploding backpack of your own, you can really have some adventures. So that's the inside of the studio. Let's get outside and see what we can dream up from Chiang Mai. I am EKG Electro Greg, speaking on behalf of Solar Sonic today. Happy 2017. Please feedback and subscribe, and let's keep this show going. Looking forward to getting back to Los Angeles and the RVs in the spring. But this is week number 3, and great things will happen over the next few. Please stay tuned and subscribe. Over and out.